Revealed, the incredible journey of a rich girl's life-changing transformation after stealing from a local store. Amelia Harrington stood at the entrance of a designer boutique, her perfectly manicured nails tapping anxiously against her phone. Her friends, draped in high-end fabrics, preened in front of the mirrors, each gleam of their makeup a testament to their privilege. In the heart of sun-kissed Los Angeles, Amelia's life glittered with luxury, a mansion, parties, and opulent vacations, but inside, a storm raged. Beneath the facade of the perfect rich girl lay the weight of her father's unyielding expectations. The relentless pressures left her gasping for air. She craved something real amidst the falsehoods surrounding her. That Saturday unraveled in chaos. Lured by a wild impulse, Amelia found herself clutching a pair of vibrant sneakers as she dashed from a quaint local store, the charm of its creaky floors and colorful displays so far removed from her gilded life. Jack, the warm-hearted owner and war veteran, met her gaze with weariness in his eyes, unaware of the deception swirling in hers. The thrill of the rush quickly turned to nausea as she stepped outside, the world around her shifting in shades of betrayal and regret. What had she done? The repercussions were swift. Her parents found out, their outrage echoing through the marble halls of their mansion. "Amelia! How could you bring this disgrace upon us?" Their words cut sharper than any designer's price tag. The fine connections they'd built in the elite social fabric felt at stake. They pushed her to adhere to their mold, to conform to their polished image, an image she felt suffocated within. But Jack, struggling to keep his store alive, saw through her. Instead of castigation, he offered her a lifeline at the community center, where he volunteered an oasis of hope in a desert of despair. As Amelia entered the worn building, her heart fluttered with anxiety. Here were kids fighting battles she'd never known, battles her privileged life had kept at bay. Surrounded by those whose dreams were a stark contrast to her own, she felt the first tug of empathy. Meeting Jamie, a bright girl battling her own demons, ignited something within Amelia she didn't know existed. Together they could rewrite their stories. Yet, the closer Amelia grew to the center, and its youth, the more conflicted she became with her parents. They viewed her mission as a misguided phase that threatened their legacy. The oppressive expectations loomed over her like a storm cloud, dark and suffocating. Meanwhile, she learned Jack's community center faced closure and injustice for kids who relied on it. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Amelia could feel her brittle heart beating with urgency as she stood at a crossroads. She envisioned herself on the community stage, invigorated by the stories around her, while the prospect of losing it all flickered like a dying flame in her mind. The fundraiser idea sparked a blaze of hope within her. She knew it wouldn't be easy, especially under the scornful gaze of her family. Yet, as she visualized the laughter and dreams of those kids, she felt a swell of courage rising within her, a chance to embrace the values she now held dear while challenging the confines of her privileged past. Did she have the strength to choose authenticity over a tarnished legacy? Amelia's mind raced as she pieced together a plan for the fundraiser. She thought of everything Jack had told her, the stories of kids whose hopes were pinned on the community center. It was time to act. She grabbed her phone and began to text Jamie. "We need to talk. I have an idea." As she paced around her opulent living room adorned with crystal chandeliers and designer furniture, the weight of her decision pressed down on her. Her parents wouldn't understand. They hadn't even bothered to mask their disappointment since learning about her impulsive theft. She couldn't shake their words from her mind: disgrace, embarrassment. To them, the image of their family mattered more than the very real lives of children struggling to find their footing in a world that often forgot them. Jamie arrived an hour later, her face bright with enthusiasm. Amelia tried to match her energy, but a heavy knot twisted in her stomach. "What's up?" Jamie asked with a smile. Amelia took a deep breath and launched into her vision, sharing the idea of a fundraising event that could save the center from closure. Jamie's eyes widened with excitement as their conversation flowed, filled with plans, ideas for entertainment, and the types of people they could reach out to for donations. But Amelia's heart thudded with uncertainty. "You know this won't be easy," she said, her voice faltering. "My parents they'll be against it. They might even try to block me." "Then we'll do it without them," Jamie exclaimed, her spirit infectious. "We can rally the kids. They would love this. Plus, what's wrong was shaking up the status quo a little." Encouraged by Jamie's belief, Amelia felt a flicker of hope. They started brainstorming flyers, thinking of a catchy name for the fundraiser. "What about Run for Dreams?" Jamie suggested. "We can set up a fun run. Everyone loves a good cause to support, right?" The excitement in the room grew as they talked details, and Amelia's heart began to open, allowing warmth to replace the shadows of her previous regrets. They spent hours together, planning schemes, creating lists, all while laughter echoed in the background. For the first time, Amelia felt like she was part of something bigger than herself. But as night fell and the reality of her parents' expectations loomed in the corners of her mind, the joy dimmed. Would she have the courage to stand up against all that she knew? The questions gnawed at her. Her palms felt clammy as the weight of the upcoming confrontation with her family loomed large. The next morning, she steeled herself, taking one last look at her reflection. "This is who I want to be," she whispered, a mantra of determination. With a deep breath, she headed downstairs, where her parents were already at the breakfast table, pushing eggs around their plates with grim expressions. "Can we talk?" She started, her voice trembling slightly. "I want to do something important." As they turned to face her, confusion and anger danced in their eyes. "What is it now, Amelia?" Her father's tone dripped with impatience. Her heart raced, but she pressed on. "I'm organizing a fundraiser for the community center." The room fell silent, the air thick with tension. "Absolutely not," her mother interjected, the disapproval radiating off her like a cold wave. Amelia's chest felt tight, but for the first time, she stood her ground. "This isn't just a phase. It matters to me. To the kids." She could see her parents' expressions darken further as she spoke, feeling the rush of defiance swell within her. But would she have what it took to follow through? Would she fight for what felt right when everything she knew was pushing back? The restless uncertainty gnawed at her, and as she met their sharp gazes, she couldn't help but wonder, how far was she willing to go for a cause she now believed in? Would her newfound strength be enough to face the storm ahead? Amelia's heart pounded as she stood in the suffocating silence that followed her declaration. Her mother's face was a mask of disbelief, and her father had gone rigid, his fork still poised above his plate. "You think you can just take our money and waste it on some charity for children you don't even know?" her father snapped, his voice low and ferocious. The anger in his words ignited another spark of defiance within Amelia. "It's not wasting money. It's giving back. Or helping kids who have no one else." Each word felt like a push against the wall, but she wouldn't stop. "You live in a bubble, Amelia!" her mother shouted, her voice rising. "You have everything you want. Why should you bother with them?" The hurt in her mother's voice stung. That was the crux of the issue, wasn't it? Amelia was supposed to be content with all that glittered around her, yet she felt so lost within it. Amelia's eyes darted around the table, seeking a shred of understanding, but found only disapproval. "Because they matter. They deserve a chance too," she pleaded. The fight morphed into a blend of desperation and frustration. "Mom, Dad, this isn't about just money, it's about hope, possibility. It's about giving kids a place to dream." "You don't know what you're talking about," her father growled, pushing his chair back. "The center is a mess. You want to be the savior of the world? It's naive." He stood abruptly, the booming sound of the chair scraping against the floor echoing starkly in the kitchen, amplifying the tension. But then something shifted in Amelia. A determination she hadn't known she had surged through her veins. Maybe it's naive, she admitted, her voice steadier now. But it's also real, and it's something I believe in. I know the kids, I've seen them. They're fighting for their lives, and I can't just sit here. Her mother's hand smacked the table, cutting her off. You are not equipped to handle this, Amelia. You'll get hurt. The warning rang clear, sharp as glass. Those words stung. Would she really get hurt by trying to help? Maybe, just maybe, the hurt didn't come from failure but from doing nothing at all. In that case, she said softly, her heart racing, perhaps it's time I stepped out of your shadows. The trio fell into a strange silence, their collective breaths hanging thick in the air. Amelia's confidence stood against the weight of their expectations, and for the first time, she felt a swell of pride in her decision. She was willing to take the risk, to forge ahead even when they didn't believe in her cause. As she turned to leave, her heart beat loud in her chest. Each step away from the table felt momentous, like a declaration of independence. She could almost taste the freedom on her tongue, passion swirling within her. Yet doubt still nipped at her heels. Could she rally the kids and bring the community together? Could they truly save the center? With her phone in hand, she texted Jamie, "Meet me at the park. We need to get moving." Later, as Amelia approached the park with its tall trees swaying gently and the faint laughter of children playing in the distance, she felt renewed. With every small step down the path to the playground, she thought about the kids who touched her heart, the friendships worth fighting for. But just as she spotted Jamie waiting on a bench, a shadow crossed her path, making her pause. A group of kids from the center, alongside a few parents, were watching her with uncertain looks. What if they didn't believe in her plan either? Her stomach flipped. Would they think she was just some rich girl playing at charity, or would they see her for who she truly wanted to be? Amelia took a deep breath, steeling herself for the next challenge. She stepped forward, ready to confront the reality of her mission, but little did she know, the ground beneath her would shift in ways she never expected. What awaited her there could change everything again. Amelia's heart raced as she approached Jamie, trying to block out the anxious stares from the group behind her. She managed a smile for him, but the knot in her stomach tightened. "Did you see them?" she whispered. The kids were nearby, huddling together with uncertainty that mirrored Amelia's own fears. "Yeah, I did," Jamie replied, glancing back at the kids. "They're probably wondering why you called us here." "Right. What if they think I'm just trying to play the savior?" Amelia felt the weight of her intentions pushing on her chest. It hung heavy, almost suffocating. She turned back towards the kids, their expressions still a mix of curiosity and confusion. "We just need to be honest," Jamie suggested. "Show them that you really care." His words rang true, but easier said than done. Swallowing hard, Amelia took a step further away from the bench, her voice shaky as she called out, "Hey, guys. Can we talk for a minute?" A few curious faces peeked out, others remained cautious, their eyes drifting away. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, staring down into the unknown. The park was filled with the sounds of laughter and joy, yet here she was, caught in a whirlwind of self-doubt. Finally, one girl stepped forward, her ponytail swinging behind her as she adjusted her grip on the younger sibling's hand. "What do you want, Amelia?" she asked, an edge of skepticism in her voice. Amelia wished she could retreat, but there was no turning back now. "I know you all have been through a lot, and I want to help. I've seen how the center can help kids like you. It's important. But what do you know about it?" Another boy chimed in. "You're not like us." Each word stung, but it was the truth. She was different, and they could see it. "You're right," she admitted, feeling her cheeks flush. "I don't know what you've been through. But I've spent time at the center. I care about you all. I want to help you guys turn things around." The girl from before looked as if she was about to dismiss her, but something in Amelia's eyes made her pause. "How?" she challenged, folding her arms defiantly across her chest. For a moment, Amelia hesitated. She hadn't laid out a detailed plan. She was operating on hope more than strategy. But as she scanned the faces in front of her, she felt that spark again, an energy she couldn't ignore. "Together," she declared, her voice gaining strength. We can organize activities, fundraisers, even art projects. And it's not just about the money, it's about giving us all a chance to work together, to make something happen. The silence felt deafening as the group exchanged looks, uncertainty still hanging thick in the air. Well, what if we try? Just one time? One of the mothers finally spoke up, her tone softer now. What do you think? Amelia's heart raced again, this time with a sense of urgency. Here was a possibility, a spark of hope. Exactly. Let us meet and brainstorm ideas. It can be our project, something for us, not just the adults. Cautiously, the kids looked at one another. There was a flicker of doubt, but something else too, curiosity. I guess it could be fun, the girl admitted, unwrapping her arms. Amelia felt a rush of relief wash over her. Maybe they didn't believe in her entirely yet, but they were willing to listen. All right, Jamie chimed in, a smile dawning on his face. Let us make something happen. As laughter began to weave between them, it felt like a small victory. However, just when Amelia thought they were breaking the ice, a commotion from the nearby playground snapped their attention. A boy scrambled towards them, his face flushed with excitement. They're coming! He shouted, waving an arm in the air. The park's getting a new program for us. A sudden hush fell over the gathering as expectations surged. Would this news crush what Amelia was hoping to build, or would it become an opportunity? She narrowed her eyes, her mind racing. What did this mean for their plan? And more importantly, how would she respond if it threatened everything she was fighting for? Amelia's mind whirled, caught between hope and dread. The energy around her shifted as the kids glanced at one another, confusion rippling through their faces. Eyes darted toward the park entrance, where a cluster of adults approached, laughing and chatting animatedly. She could feel their excitement pressing down on her, a weight that threatened to crush the fragile momentum she had started to build. What new program? Jamie asked, stepping closer to her, his brow furrowed. There was a tinge of worry in his voice that echoed her own. The boy who had run up, bursting with enthusiasm, stepped forward again. They're setting up a free sports camp. Starting next week. His words tumbled out in a rush, a mixture of anticipation and urgency. Amelia's heart sank. Sports camp? While it sounded fun, it also felt like a potential distraction from her plan. She had envisioned art projects, teamwork, something that would empower the kids beyond just sports. But what about us? One of the kids finally shouted, frustration spilling over. Is anyone even going to care about our ideas now? Amelia's pulse quickened. The kids were right. She sensed their fear, fading sparks of interest in their eyes. What did it matter if her project was a great idea if it was overshadowed by something new and shiny? Wait! We can still do it! She called out, trying to reclaim their attention. This sports camp can be an addition to what we start. I don't see how that helps, the girl with the ponytail interjected. This is just more adults thinking they know what's best for us. You'd just end up being, what was it you said? The savior? The word echoed in Amelia's mind, and it stung like a bee. Here she was trying to connect, and yet she was already perceived as someone outside their circle. The walls were going back up, and she felt the heat of doubt creeping in again. Jamie placed a hand on her shoulder, grounding her. What if we make both happen? He suggested, glancing between Amelia and the kids. What if we organize a fun day that includes sports, art, and maybe even some games? Show them we're all in this together. His suggestion released a breath Amelia hadn't realized she'd been holding. Yeah! A community day! She exclaimed, excitement flooding her voice. We could call it Together Day. Everyone can contribute something: art, games, and sports. The kids' eyes widened, the flicker of doubt transforming into curiosity once more. Like a festival? Another boy asked, leaning forward. Exactly. Amelia smiled, relief washing over her. And I can help us get supplies. We just need your ideas. The tension in the air lightened, and the unease gave way to chatter. They began brainstorming games, art projects, and how to reach out to other kids and families. Each suggestion spun a little more hope into their project, pulling them together instead of pushing them apart. Suddenly, a sharp whistle cut through the enthusiasm. Amelia's heart dropped. The adults entering the park were eyeing them. "What were you kids doing?" one man called out, hands on his hips, authority looming over them. "Just talking about the new program," called out the ponytail girl, defensively. A wave of uncertainty crashed over the group. Would the adults be supportive or dismissive? All the progress they had just made felt teetering on the edge of collapse. Amelia squared her shoulders. This was her moment to pivot. "Let us show them what we can create together," she urged, swallowing her fear. "If we can do this, they'll have to listen." But deep inside, another fear gnawed at her. Could they really take charge of their own follow-through? Would the adults understand them? Before she could dwell on it, the crowd shifted, and the adults were approaching. Amelia's heart thundered in her chest. Would they fall back into silence, or could they find their voice against all odds? As Jamie squeezed her hand, she felt a spark of determination layered with uncertainty wash over her. The outcome was teetering, and everything that mattered felt within reach. But what happens when their voices are finally heard? Can they truly change the narrative? The adults moved closer, and the tension thickened the air around them. Amelia's stomach twisted into knots as she watched the man who had called out approach, a frown etched into his face that made her heart race. "What are you kids planning?" he demanded, eyes narrowing on the group. Amelia could feel the unspoken judgment weighing down on them, and the kids shifted, glancing at one another as uncertainty rippled through their ranks. Taking a deep breath, Amelia stepped forward. "We're organizing a Together Day. We want to bring everyone together with sports and art and games," she announced, forcing enthusiasm into her voice. "It'll be fun for the whole community. We just need some help to make it all happen." The adults exchanged skeptical looks, whispering between themselves. Amelia couldn't tell if they were considering the idea or simply preparing to squash it. Her heart thudded against her ribs. Everything was riding on this moment. Finally, a woman with bright red glasses spoke up, her tone softer than the man's sternness. "That sounds interesting. But you have to understand, running a program of any sort takes a lot of planning. Do you really think you kids can pull this off?" "What if we could?" Jamie piped up, taking a step beside Amelia. "We've got tons of ideas. We can divide tasks, create a schedule, even get other kids involved. We just need support from the community." Several kids straightened at this, nodding with determination. They were ready to rally together, and Amelia could feel the energy shifting again. But would the adults see it? The man crossed his arms, skepticism etched into his features. "Kids can get carried away with enthusiasm. It might be better if you let the adults handle it." Amelia felt a wave of despair wash over her. Sit back while someone else dictated everything? She knew that wouldn't work. But then the boy with the cap, always so quiet, spoke up. "Why can't they help us? We know our ideas better than anyone. It's our community." His words hung in the air, a challenge that made all the adults pause. Amelia's heart soared slightly at his bravery. She caught a glimpse of the other kids' faces, determination igniting their eyes. Empowered, they were willing to fight for what they wanted. The adults exchanged glances again, and Amelia's stomach flipped. Would they dismiss this growing energy, or could they find a way to meet them halfway? "Let us not dismiss their enthusiasm," the woman said slowly, lifting her glasses to rub her eyes. "What if we worked with them? Help them figure out how to make this Together Day happen? It could be a valuable experience for everyone involved." Amelia's heart swelled with hope. "Yes. If you let us plan it together, we promise to put in the work. We'll show you we can make it special." With nods and murmurs of agreement from the kids, she glanced back at Jamie. They shared a smile, and she could see the excitement building between them. Maybe this was the breakthrough they'd been needing. But just as relief washed over her, the man's voice boomed again. "If this is going to work, you all need to take it seriously. We expect a full plan, and there will be conditions. Deal?" A murmur of agreement buzzed through the group, excitement mingled with nerves. There was still a lot of work to do, and the pressure was on. Yet Amelia could feel the tiny tendrils of hope pushing through the anxiety. This was just the beginning. She would guide them, and maybe, just maybe, they could change not just their summer, but the way their community worked together. As they began to outline their ideas, she turned to Jamie, her eyes sparkling with determination. We need to start right away. Who knows what else we can come up with? But before they could dive in deeper, Amelia caught sight of another group gathering at the far end of the park, faces painted with apprehension and uncertainty. Something told her that more than just their voices needed to be heard. What if they weren't ready for the change they craved? Would this new energy spark more conflict or connection? Amelia's heart raced as she turned her gaze toward the group at the far end of the park. A knot formed in her stomach. They looked so lost, so unsure. She could see the familiar faces of some of her classmates, their expressions a mixture of fear and skepticism. Do you think they're worried? Jamie asked, breaking through her thoughts. Yeah, it's like they're waiting for something to happen. Amelia squinted, trying to make out who was in the group. She could pick out Rebecca, a girl known for her fierce independence, yet today she stood apart from the crowd, her shoulders slumped. We should invite them over, Jamie suggested. Maybe they'd want to be a part of Together Day too. Amelia took a deep breath, ready to address not only the adults but her peers as well. Everyone! She called out, waving her arms to get the group's attention. The ones gathered hesitated, their eyes flicking back and forth. One boy, clad in a faded t-shirt that hung loosely around his frame, hesitated before stepping forward. What do you want? He asked, his voice cautious. We're planning Together Day, Amelia said, her heart beating strong with enthusiasm. We want everyone to come together, make friends, share ideas. We can't do it without all of you. Rebecca pursed her lips, her brow furrowing. And what if we don't want to? She asked pointedly. Amelia took a deep breath and replied, but that's the beauty of it. It's a chance for us all to connect, to show that we can be a community. If you participate, it could lead to something amazing. There was a long moment of silence. Amelia could see the wheels turning in their heads. Suddenly, a girl from the back, someone Amelia didn't know well, took a step forward. What do you need from us? She asked, curiosity breaking through the hesitation. Amelia's heart soared. We need your ideas. We want to create activities that everyone will love, art stations, games, maybe a talent show. We can divide the tasks so it doesn't feel overwhelming. We'll be a team, Jamie added, and if we all work together, we could show everyone what we can do. Amelia noticed some nods in the other group. The tension seemed to loosen a bit, allowing tentative smiles to break out among the kids. But the man from before cleared his throat, stepping forward. This needs to be taken seriously. If we're going to do this, then let us make a plan. I'll oversee it. His sternness remained, but Amelia could sense a hint of support beneath it. Excitement flared as the kids intermingled. Voices began to rise, ideas bouncing around like a cheerful game of catch. Amelia felt hope wrap around her. This could actually work if they united. The warmth of emerging friendships began to glow, but she also sensed a flicker of doubt behind Rebecca's eyes. What if it doesn't change anything? She muttered, her voice low. Amelia paused, staring her down. But what if it does? What if this is the moment everything changes for us, for our community? Rebecca's brow furrowed, but the hint of a smile curled at her lips. It was a crack in her armor. Just then, a loud noise erupted from the opposite side of the park, pulling everyone's attention. A heated argument between two adults unfolded, the tension palpable like a rising storm. The voices escalated, drowning out the hope they had just cultivated. What's going on? Jamie whispered, concern etched in his eyes. Amelia's heart sank. This was just another reminder of the division within their community. Maybe we need to pause, she started, but Rebecca shot her an encouraging look. No! The girl spoke, fiery determination radiating from her. This is exactly why we need Together Day. As they all watched the argument unfold, Amelia felt challenged. Could they rally each other and the entire community to stand against their growing divisions? With audacity blooming inside her, she stepped forward, ready to confront the chaos. But as she moved, she couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was brewing than just a festival. What if they were about to uncover long-buried secrets that could change everything? Amelia's breath hitched in her throat as she stepped away from the gathering. The tension from the argument hung like a dark cloud above them, the once vibrant mood beginning to dampen. She looked back over her shoulder, her heart pounding. Rebecca was right. This was exactly why they needed Together Day. With resolve, Amelia pushed her way to the center, where the adults' voices cut through the laughter and chatter from the kids. She caught the eye of the boy who had first spoken up. "Hey! Let us show them what we're about. Come on!" She pointed toward the group of kids, trying to rally their spirits. "Right," Jamie chimed in, a fierce glint in his eyes. "We can make a mural, or something that brings everyone together. Art stirs emotions. It shows who we are." Rebecca suddenly broke from the crowd, joining Amelia. "That's it. We could create a giant piece mural. Each person adds something special to it. Maybe together we could express how we feel about our community." The idea hung in the air, the initial wave of doubt replaced by a spark of excitement. Amelia turned to the others. "What do you think? This argument is showing us how divided we've all become. But art? It's like a bridge. It connects." The crowd murmured in surprise, but the energy was shifting. A girl in a bright pink jacket stepped forward. "I love murals. I can help organize the supplies." The fight between the adults raged on, but Amelia felt something change within the group. A wave of unity began to crest over them as more kids joined in, voicing ideas, sharing their talents, eager to step away from the discord and create something meaningful. As names were thrown around to divide tasks, Amelia felt her heart lift. "Let us gather everything we need, the paints, brushes, and maybe some snacks to keep everyone energized." Just then, the arguing adults jerked into an abrupt silence, as if they were reminded of their own responsibilities. Conversations promoting conflict fell to whispers, as their gazes now darted toward the cluster of students. "What's happening over there?" one of them said, still slightly oblivious. Amelia turned, taking a breath. "We're creating a mural. A piece of art that represents us coming together as a community." The words spilled out before she could think, her heart racing, hope flickering like candlelight against the wind. The man's brow furrowed, but there was something in her voice that brought a moment of pause. "Art? Now? Yes. It's important." Amelia pushed on. "We see the arguments, the divisions, and instead of fighting, we can express ourselves and come together. Isn't that what we all want?" Silence fell over the area, and for a moment, even the wind seemed still. The guy who had been stern blinked, his gaze lingering on the younger generation piecing together their dreams into actionable plans. "All right," he said finally, voice softening. "If this is important to you, you can go ahead. But I will be overseeing it." Cheers erupted from the kids, a wave of euphoria sweeping through them. The previous fight seemed diminished, far too distant compared to the eruption of connection taking place. Amelia grinned wide. The very core of what they sought was not lost, it was only beginning to blossom. Yet, amidst the euphoria, a nagging voice in the back of Amelia's mind whispered doubts. Could art be enough? What if the mural didn't spark the change they longed for? She needed to address something deeper, a layer buried under years of neglect. Just then, as they gathered supplies, the girl who had once taken a step forward hesitated, glancing nervously around. "What if the mural is worth more than we think?" she asked quietly, drawing everyone's attention. Amelia nodded, intrigued. "What do you mean?" The girl swallowed hard, her eyes sincere. "What if this represents more than a festival? What if it reveals truths we've hidden, both good and bad? It could change everything or scare us." Amelia's heart raced again, but this time with a new sense of urgency. The mural could be a mirror reflecting the community's hidden issues, their struggles. If they confronted these truths, Would they lead to healing? She felt a fire ignite within her. Then we'll make it count. We'll pour everything into this mural and face it as a community. Together. As the group buzzed with newfound energy, Amelia looked towards the adults, ready for whatever arose from this journey. Could they, too, shape this awakening? But before she could ask, the argument flared up once more, forcing a reckoning. The tumult was coming back, and she knew they were standing on the edge of something monumental. Would they be able to seize this transformation, or would old divisions tear them apart again? With a swift motion, Amelia announced, "Let us get started. Who's with me?" And in that moment, she felt a shared heartbeat, bigger than any single individual, resonating through the air. Together, they were ready for change. But looming in the shadows was the truth that lay hidden in uncertainty that had to be faced if they were to move forward. What secrets were waiting to challenge their newfound unity? Amelia felt the energy shift in the air as the kids jumped to action. They scattered, racing to gather supplies, their laughter replacing the earlier tension. But as the joy bubbled up, a thick cloud of uncertainty still loomed over her. What exactly lay below the surface of this community? "Okay, Jamie, you can lead the painting team," she called out. Jamie grinned, not wasting time and rounding up some kids who wanted to wield brushes. They were buzzing with excitement, each eager to contribute. "Rebecca, can you handle decorating the ground? We can make it vibrant and colorful," Amelia suggested, looking to her friend for support. "I'm on it," Rebecca replied, her hands already moving as she sketched ideas in the dirt with a stick. As Amelia gathered paints and brushes, unease crept back into her mind. What if this was just a temporary escape? A moment that would fade as quickly as the paint would dry. Each stroke on the mural might reveal a bright view, but would it truly reflect their stories? Let us decide what to paint first. Amelia clapped her hands to bring everyone together. The kids huddled around her, faces glowing, full of promise. What do we want this mural to show? Hands shot up, each one bursting with inspiration. An old man transforming into a tree, children flying kites that turned into butterflies, a sun that lit up their town. Ideas flowed freely. It was enchanting, but beneath every bright idea, Amelia sensed an undercurrent of fear. What truths would come forth in their effort to create a mural that unified? "Let us make it reflect our struggles too," she finally said, her heart racing. "What about the things that hurt us or divide us? Like fences we see in town, or broken bridges?" The crowd fell silent. It was as if someone turned down the volume on their excitement. The joy was palpable, but so was the weight of vulnerability Amelia had just shared. A boy named Lucas, who usually kept to himself, stepped forward. "My dad always talks about the neighborhoods that don't get along," he murmured, shuffling his feet. "Can we paint that? It's ugly, but it's real." "Yes, Lucas. That's it," Amelia exclaimed. "We can paint the ugly and the beautiful. Because both are parts of who we are." A flicker of determination sparked in her. Maybe this mural, despite their fears, could truly be a reflection of their community's heart. Together, they could cast light into dark corners. As the day heated up, they mixed colors, laughter returning to the air. But as the sun dipped lower, a figure appeared at the edge of the park. One of the adults who had been arguing was watching them. His face was hard to read, shadowed by the dimming light. "Hey! Are you here to help or judge us?" Jamie yelled out, clutching a brush, his bravado just a tad shaky. The man stepped closer, his posture relaxed, yet the uncertainty in his expression lingered. "I just wanted to see what you all were doing. I didn't think it would mean so much to you." Amelia connected their eyes, her heart racing again. This was the moment. We're showing what this community really is. We want everyone to be a part of it. But just as she was about to invite him to join in, a loud argument erupted again from the adults behind him. The voices were rising, just as they had before. They were moving away from the joy the kids were creating. The man glanced back, torn between the chaos and the vibrant energy of the mural project. Amelia felt a pang in her chest. Would these adults ever think beyond their disagreements? Let us do our best to make this mural something they cannot ignore. Amelia encouraged her friends, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the real fight was still unfolding. Who are we really painting for? Whispered Rebecca, catching Amelia's eye. Will it matter to them? Amelia's heart sank, a weight of responsibility pressing down. Could this artwork bridge the divide, or would it just fade into the wallpaper of their memories? As the shadows started to stretch long, she felt a glimmer of hope. Let us stand strong. This mural can push for understanding. We're on the brink of something big. But deep inside, confusion brewed. Could they truly change the narrative with paint and brush? Could the walls that divided them be taken down with creativity? Yet, as the last light of day draped over them, she knew the answer lay just ahead, waiting for them to discover it. Would they find the courage to embrace both joy and pain in their creation? Would it break barriers or face confrontation once more? Only time would tell. The sun dipped low, casting an orange hue across the park as Amelia stood surrounded by her friends, paintbrush in hand. The vibrant colors splashed against the mural felt like sparks of hope, but with every stroke, she also felt the weight of uncertainty. She cast a glance toward the group of adults still caught in their heated argument across the way. Would their words drown out the dreams of a new generation? Let us remember why we're doing this. Amelia called out, rallying the kids who had gathered closer, eyes bright with anticipation. This mural is about us. Our stories, our truths. Jamie smiled. He was still fervently painting, but he nodded, his eyes shining with understanding. And to show them we can stand together, he added, a determination in his voice that sent ripples of energy through the crowd. Amelia took a deep breath. We're going to paint the divisions, yes, but we're also going to paint the bridges we want to build. There were murmurs and nods of agreement. Each child, each adult watching from afar, needed to see that change was possible. Let us tackle those barriers, Rebecca shouted, her voice carrying the same passion that lit up Amelia's heart. What if we showed people holding hands across the divided lines, showing they can come together? Perfect. Another kid chimed in. And we could draw a rainbow over it. Rainbows represent unity. As more ideas flew around, the canvas evolved beyond mere colors and strokes. It became a living testament of hope, change, and community determination. But just as the energy surged, the argument from the adults peaked again, loud enough to send buzzing unease through their group. This is it, Jamie shouted, breaking Amelia's focus. If they can shift from anger to art, maybe that's the breakthrough we need. And in that moment, Amelia realized the mural wasn't just for the kids, it was a rallying cry for everyone. She gasped, the idea crystallizing in her mind. Let us ask the adults to join us in this, she proclaimed, voice firm. If they're watching, we need to show them we can make something beautiful together. The kids looked surprised but intrigued. But what if they don't want to? A boy murmured, glancing toward the adults with uncertainty. Then we'll invite them anyway, Amelia replied decisively. It's our community too, and we deserve to be heard. Gathering around Amelia, the group nodded, sharing in her surge of courage. She could feel it starting to ripple through them. With renewed purpose, she stepped towards the adults who had somewhat subsided, the shadows of their earlier arguments still lurking. Hey! She yelled, stepping into the fray. We're creating a mural that tells how we want to change things here. Would you join us? The man she had spoken to before raised an eyebrow, surprised. You want to involve us? Yes, Amelia answered, taking a step closer. Everyone has a role in this community. The stories we paint can actually reflect the truth, help us bridge gaps. Will you help us? Silence hung thick in the air as the adults exchanged glances. Uncertainty hung on their faces, but suddenly that man nodded, his resolve softening. All right. If you're serious, let's make this count. Together then. Amelia shouted with enthusiasm, her heart swelling as a cheer erupted from the kids. Colorful instances of laughter and excitement blazed across their mural as adults began to approach, hesitant yet intrigued. Painting became a flurry of teamwork. Each adult was welcomed kindly, their brushes mingling with the children's, as they began to paint their own versions of hope and struggle. The air hummed with energy as they expressed thoughts, listened, and slowly started understanding the narrative each stroke bore. Amelia felt a warmth build within as she watched walls of division crumble, laughter fill the park, and hearts begin to open. This is what it's about. She smiled, seeing kids and adults alike share stories while creating the mural together. As twilight set in, the mural became an ever-evolving tapestry of colors, messages, and emotions of both joy and pain and artistic testament to their shared existence, their hopes, and their realities. When lines became blurred between the youth and adults, the mural stood as proof that transformation wasn't just about what they painted on a canvas. It was about the connections that burgeoned in spite of their differences. "I can't believe we did this," Jamie said, stepping back to catch the first glow of the finished mural as lights twinkled on around the park. "Together, we did." Amelia laughed, her heart full. But more than that, she felt a shared heartbeat echo within her, a call to action, urging her to continue bridging gaps wherever they appeared. As night fell, they stood hand in hand, staring at the colors blending beautifully against the deepening sky. And in that moment, a new chapter began, one that would carry them all forward, binding them closer and reminding them that even through art, they could drive meaningful change. Now, it was time for the broader community to join hands and continue this journey, uniting voices through compassion and creativity. You need to subscribe now to be part of this transformative journey. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who could use this kind of hope. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and let your voice echo in the comments. What are your thoughts on the mural and the changes? Get involved and let us keep inspiring one another.